Good evening. I am going to go ahead and call to order regular school board meeting of the Washington Township School Board. It is Wednesday, March 11th. It is 6 p.m. We have 4 board members present here today in person. Mr. Turner had a conflict and will not be able to attend today, but we do have a quorum. And we will begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we begin our agenda, it is our custom at the first meeting of every month to read our mission statement. As a reminder, since I think my fellow board members get tired of me calling on them, I decided I would just do it tonight. The mission of Washington Township Schools is to nurture our students into tomorrow's leaders by cultivating environments that ignite innovation, amplify diverse and critical thinking, and inspire growth and achievement. So with that in mind, we will kick off our agenda to hear about how Greenbrier is doing all those things. Our proud new principal, Ms. Stallings Morrissey, take it away.
Spinning.
Oh, maybe. Where'd it go?
Good evening, President Fry, Dr. Taylor, members of the board. I do thought I was just standing before you all accepting this position, so I'm really excited to stand before you tonight and share some great things that are happening at Greenbrier. So for celebrations, we've got 8 teachers that have passed their practice exam and have their early literacy endorsement. Dr. Taylor, for you, we've got some future leaders that are coming out. We've got 3 teachers already that have obtained or in the process of obtaining their administration license. To kind of work for that closing the achievement gap. We do have teachers that have done tutoring sessions this semester and last semester and provided tutoring to over 20 students so far. And then we have a commitment to our SEL. Mr. Myers, our counselor, has conducted goal-setting interviews with every 4th grade and 5th grader in connection to our SEL lessons and our pacing guide for that. So we're really excited about that work. As far as our students, our robotics team has made it to the state finals. So next year we can that would be great. We've got 39 students with perfect attendance so far this year. But we are really proud about the clubs in school and out of school for students. We've got 32 students who have been showing up regularly for running the club at 6:45 in the morning and are really excited. He is facilitating that for the Great North Run. Those kids are excited for that opportunity. And then on the 19th, we do our Black History performance, and we've got 40 students that are consistently showing up after school for that rehearsal with Mr. Bush. For our school community, we are really excited about Bear the Bee. I encourage you all to come out. Next Bear the Bee is on March the 27th. Our community has really showed up for that. Parents are there. North Central football team came out for the very last one. So we're really excited about that. IHC Sisterhood is supporting 100 students with school break bags of food every break. And then for Thanksgiving, they did 41 families baskets. We've got at least 12 community partners that are attending math and literacy night. Dr. Taylor, again, your mission of growing Panthers, our athletic department reached out to coaches, and they are providing athletes and coaches for math and literacy night that are going to be reading to some kids in running stations. So we're really excited for that partnership. And then Assistant Lead is building a love for reading in our first grade classes. So the focus on our achievement for all. And so this year last year for iRead, we have the highest growth for iRead pass percentage. This year, we had 141 students that just met the principal's challenge of earning 5 trophies for math and reading on Exact Path. For iLearn, we had 6% growth in the number of 4th and 5th grade students that are now performing at or above proficiency and ELA checkpoint 1 to 2. And then we're on track to meet the district strategic plan goal with no more than 95% of our Grizzlies having fewer than 2 office referrals this year. Some of the things that we are doing to make sure that we stay on track to meet those goals. And then some of the areas where we are seeing some challenges, like I said, the attendance goal, we are at 94%, but we are trying to find ways to meet that district goal of 95%, as that continues to be a challenge for us. We continue to focus on raising proficiency rates for our special education and our ENL students on iLearn and iRead, and then expanding that pass rate for our second graders to over 70%. Some of the promising practices that we are doing, we've got Grizzlies in the group and implementing our student of the week to kind of address those behavior by using our Kimochis and our Be Good People. For attendance, we do have a weekly Grizzly crew incentive that students can earn on Friday where they get to dance with a bunch of us in the hallway. And then for instructional stuff, we kind of tightened up how we are collecting data on tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, and kind of made a data hub to keep that all centralized. And then just some targeted interventions based on exit tickets, CFAs, unit assessments. So then for our spotlight, let's see, but I am going to read about Romania. So Rodan's teacher submitted her for our portrait of a panther, and these were the words that were said. Through her words, actions, and character, Rodan Theodore exemplifies the principles that constitute a portrait of a panther. She leads with a quiet strength, consistently showing kindness and treating everyone around her with respect. Always willing to lend a helping hand, Rodan supports the Greenbrier community through her service as a Grizzly ambassador. Though she is soft-spoken, she continually steps outside of her comfort zone, demonstrating courage and steady personal. So our portrait of a panther goes to Rodan Theodore. Miss Jackson, but I will read about Miss Jackson, who is our parent recognition. Miss Jackson is the parent of 3 Greenbrier students, a 5th grader, a 2nd grader, and a kindergarten. She also has a student in person. She is being recognized for the way she consistently shows up for our students here. Her students' teachers describe her as a model for a family-school partnership. They say Miss Jackson is always asking about class needs and works hard to support them. One teacher said she's always on board with field trips, class snacks, and making sure our class has every supply we need. In addition to being a full-time parent, she is in school working outside of it, and she still steps up to volunteer at Greenbrier, even if it isn't her child's classroom. She reached out to the school social worker last summer for ideas on how to set up and support a food distribution site in her own neighborhood, recognizing the locations offered are not within safe walking distance with sidewalks for many of our families. She is making a huge impact in our community, and we are so lucky to have Ms. Jackson.
Wow.
Our partnership is here. KDO is here. Through strategic commitment to equity and access, KDO continues to positively impact the lives of Greenbrier 3rd graders by providing high-quality dance programs. By integrating joyful movement into elementary schools, KDO fosters a culture of excellence that instills confidence and rewards persistence. KDO has a bright spot for our students in the middle of a stressful test season. KDO's mission is rooted in inclusion, and they ensure all programming is accessible to students with physical, cognitive, and developmental disabilities. KDO has subsidized 75% of their programming costs, with the Washington Township School Foundation covering the remaining 35%. KDO has awarded several scholarships to Greenbrier students, ensuring that financial barriers never stand in the way of their artistic and personal growth. By removing the burden of tuition for our family, KDO remains a vital community resource dedicated to teamwork, excellence, and universal rights.
Thank you so much for support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Stanford.
You know that this work could not be done with our nonprofit health foundation. We want to recognize how they are also supporting Greenbrier. And so we had staff use their Teacher Treasures membership and secured a little bit less than $6,000 in school supplies for classrooms last year. We had 4 teachers, classrooms that were adopted, and provided $4,000 worth of additional impact. 7 Greenbrier staff members took advantage of the dollar donors choose, with projects matched a little bit over $6,000. Last year, Greenbrier received 3 school-funded grants totaling just under $4,000. This year, Greenbrier was awarded 6 grants totaling over $18,000. And I do want to recognize that one of those grants went to our robotics team to get a drone to do more robotics things to make it safe next year. So we thank for that as well. So there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go Grizzlies.
May I ask one question? What time is the beat?
Yeah.
Bear?
Fair to beat.
Yes.
It's 7:20 to 7:40. So when they come off bus, we are line hallways. We've got the drum line playing.
Perfect. March 27th.
March 27th.
Okay.
27th.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is superintendent's announcements. Dr. Taylor.
Thank you, President Fry. Good evening, board. Good evening, members of the community. Thank you again, Greenbrier Grizzlies. Thanks for coming out. It's survey time. It's that year. It's that time of year again. Here's a copy of a draft communication that will go out this Friday in our, excuse me, in our district parent square update, notifying families and staff that we are interested in gaining their feedback relative to our strategic plan progress in year 1. The data triangle survey is facilitated by Education Elements, and that's designed to capture multiple perspectives in a meaningful and streamlined way. The survey will gather feedback between Monday, March 16th and Friday, March 27th, right before spring break, across 4 key areas aligned with our strategic plan, just like last year's 4 key areas. They were instructional support and feedback, student learning and engagement, school culture and safety, and then student experience and well-being. In addition, this year we've talked about and are interested in gathering feedback on our e-learning day schedule. And so we have added some questions in there to garner feedback specific to our e-learning day plan. And so we'll keep the board and community aware of the feedback received relative to that for implications of any changes for next school year and the years moving forward. Education Elements, again, is our partner in strategic planning. But I always like to remind people that it was only a possibility as a result of our Lilly Phase 2 funding. And so we appreciate that, and we appreciate that partnership. We have honors course data. Every year we like to continuously monitor our honors course data as we try to push to raise achievement and equitable outcomes for all students. So there's a little bit of a demographic breakdown of our middle school data and key findings. So if you click there, there's a full analysis that was completed by Dr. Pettigrew and Dr. Seaver. And you can see some of our trends since 23, 24. This is something we want to continue to track as we continue to make sure we have inclusive honors environments. One thing that always comes up as a board and superintendent is talking about submitting a proposal to present at some conferences. So I wanted to put this opportunity on the board's radar, and I'm certainly open to considering proposals to submit to the Indiana School Boards Association and the Indiana Association of Public School Superintendents for their fall conference, their annual conference. They're looking for presentations. And so if the board has any ideas or thoughts on that, I'm open and would certainly enjoy the opportunity to brag on the district and some of our work, as well as educate other boards and superintendents on some of the work we're doing in Washington Township. So there's a link there for you to click on to find out more details. But the deadline is May 8th for that. And then finally, a kudos and congratulations to North Central High School, and particularly the journalism department, as it's been selected as the 2026 First Amendment Press Freedom Award recipient. As you know, the board did some work on some policy recently to help make this happen. a committee with representatives of the Journalism Education Association, National Scholastic Press Association, and the Quill and Scroll Society studied each application carefully and selected North Central as one of the schools to honor. This again shows that North Central and Washington Township values press freedom and what that means for democracy. There's a link there to the official press release, and you can see other schools throughout the country who also earned this recognition, as there's not very many. So that's there for your review. And that concludes my superintendent announcements, and I'll turn it back over to you, President Fry.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
Mhm.
The next item on the agenda would be comments from the public. I do have one sign up today. Mr. Phillips, you can make your way to the podium. Was there anybody else who wanted to address the board today? Okay, Mr. Phillips, do you agree to the rules so I don't have to go through them?
Comply.
Okay, you may go ahead.
Jerry Phillips, 7102 Allisonville Road. My comments are very brief. Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Thank you, Ms. Fry, and others involved. I appreciate your cooperation.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. We always appreciate. Thank you. Take them. Thank you. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. Dr. Kiger.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. President Fry, members of the board, I recommend that you approve the consent agenda for this meeting. This consent agenda includes approval of the minutes of the February 25th, 2026 regular board meeting, approval of one payroll calculation summary report, claims docket in the amount of $8,004,241.08, a special personnel item in accordance with Indiana Code 20-26-5-11.2, a human resources report containing for classified personnel, 14 new hires, numbers 237 to 250, 19 resignations, numbers 111 to 129, and 3 leaves, numbers 41 to 43. For certified personnel, 1 new appointment, number 114, 3 resignations, numbers 35 through 37, and 5 retirements, numbers 6 through 10. There is 1 non-competitive grant, gift, or donation to present to the board for approval, a donation to North Central High School from Mr. Gamble, and the documents have been provided in your board packet.
I'm sorry about that. Were there any questions or discussion on the consent agenda board? Seeing none, I will go ahead and call the vote. All those in favor? Oh, gosh,
Move
sorry.
to approve the consent agenda as presented by Dr. Kaiser.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. I will now call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. All right, we are going to take a little step back in our agenda today because we did just have a special guest join us. And let's see, Ms. Stallings Morrissey, I believe, do we still have the presentation though?
Dr. Kaiser has got it up. And Dr. Kaiser, do you mind reading the text at the bottom as to why she was being recognized?
Theodore. She has been selected as the Greenbrier Portrait of a Panther recipient in their school spotlight this evening. And as a well-rounded leader among her peers, Rodan has demonstrated an unwavering dedication to creating positive change within her school community. And this recognition celebrates a true Panther, one who inspires others to build a better world for all. So congratulations.
Congratulations. We're so proud of you. Congratulations.
You want your family to come up? That's cool.
Yeah, sorry. It's like a wildfire. There we go.
I didn't mean to kill you.
Very kind. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Same there. Oh. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to our action items for the night. Mrs. Smith. Approval of void stale dated checks.
President Fire, Dr. Taylor, members of the board, in your packet, you will see a list of stale dated checks. And those are customary that we have to do annually. And it is required for Indiana Code 5-11-10.5 that we must present these to the school board for approval of any outstanding checks as of December 31st. Every checks that are 2 years and older that we bring every February for the board. And then as customary, these checks, as they're voided, the dollars go back into the original fund that they were cashed from. And if those funds no longer exist, in case it's a grant or whatever, then it goes back into one of two funds, the education fund, if it's directly aimed toward instruction, or the operations fund, if it was something with the overall operations of the district. So we are just doing our requirements per Indiana code and would ask for the board's approval as presented.
Board, any questions? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the void stale dated checks as presented by Mrs. Smith.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, Mrs. Smith. And moving on, not action item number 2, Dr. Whitman, a supplemental pay for unified track and field coaching positions.
Good evening, President Fry, Dr. Taylor, members of the board. I come tonight seeking approval of the resolution for supplemental pay for the unified track and field coaching position. So this resolution, through your board's approval, will provide supplemental pay for 2 extracurricular ECA coaching positions to lead the newly established unified track and field program at North Central High School. Approving this resolution will fund the dedicated coaching leadership necessary to successfully implement and sustain this inclusive IHSAA sanctioned athletic opportunity for students. I've also provided you a proposal for the totality of the budget. Some of that money will come from operations and education fund. And then also the athletic department will be pitching in some money for that budget as well. I do want to point out that this resolution is really only targeted for 1 year because we are going to work with WTEA to put this in the collective bargaining agreement through a memorandum of understanding so that it becomes part of the ECA structure and not part of a supplemental pay process. So this is just to get us through the inaugural year, and then we will do a more comprehensive inclusion in the ECA schedule. Any questions that I can answer?
Mr. Davis?
I just, for clarification, because this says it's for the positions, but this is actually for the actual program.
Well, it's for the supplemental pay for the 2 coaching positions. I've given you a budget for the whole program.
Okay, so the total financial impact is actually incorrect then?
The total financial impact I did put for the whole budget.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should have just given you the
Okay,
coaching positions for the resolution,
gotcha.
and you have that
So
broken down.
right now, you're just asking us to approve the positions. Okay.
But I did want to make sure you knew we were thinking not just of the expense of the coaches, we were thinking about uniforms, and because this is a unified track
Right.
program, they're based on the number of call-out students. We will need some instructional assistants to serve those students during practices and in track meets. So we've included that as part of the budget proposal so you can see what those expenses are. But those are already part of our student services budget. When we have students who go to dances and other extracurricular activities, there are times where those services are employed. We're just expanding it to this as well. So that is correct. I am happy to send an amendment that changes.
I just wanted to make sure, yeah.
No, what you are approving right now is the 2
Okay.
coaching.
Thank you.
Board, any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the resolution for supplemental pay for unified track and field coaching positions as presented by Dr. Whitman.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I just want to thank you and the staff for continuing to offer these inclusion opportunities to our students. So with that, I will call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you.
And I hope we'll come to when we post state track, because the unified track program will be competing in the morning on the same day at the same site.
Nice.
Okay. All right, Mr. Boots, you are up next. Action item number 3 is the approval of the Corson Fire and Security Agreement for the Washington Township Service Center fire alarm upgrade.
Thank you, President Fry. Good evening, Dr. Taylor and members of the board. I am here this evening asking for approval of AIA A104-2 2017 agreement with Corson Fire and Security Incorporated for the Washington Township Services Center fire alarm upgrade. And just a point of clarity, when I was here a couple weeks ago maybe, I said the Services Center project was substantially complete, and indeed it is. This is just another package of work that needed to be done that was not included in the original scope of work, but was determined that we had sufficient funds to fund this improvement. So the scope of this project is to replace the existing obsolete annunciator panel, as well as provide all new devices such as strobes, pull stations, smoke detectors, and heat detectors. The lowest responsive proposal was submitted by Corson Fire and Security, Inc., and the financial impact will be $184,346. And that money will come from capital referendum. Be happy to respond to any questions.
Board, any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the Corson Fire and Security, Inc. agreement for the WT Services Center fire alarm upgrade as presented by Mr. Boots.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Boots. And our last action item of the night, Mr. Bowles, Lawn Chemical Application Services Agreement with True Green.
Most exciting for last. Good evening, President Fry, Dr. Taylor, members of the board. I am here tonight to request approval of the Lawn Chemical Application Services contract for a 2026 season. As site renovations begin to come to a close, we feel now is the best time to establish a standardized agreement for chemical application services district-wide. On February 12th, we sent out an RFQ for multiple companies and also posted the RFQ on the district website and generated that notice through our vendor portal with Robin Winston. We received quotes from 5 interested companies. Details of those quotes have been provided for you in your board packet. After review of all 5 quotes by interested companies, it's recommended that the contract be awarded to True Green for lawn chemical service applications. True Green has done a chemical application services with MSDWT Common Grounds and Athletic Surfaces previously. We have been pleased with the services they have provided and believe those services will continue. Additionally, not only was the RFQ they submitted extremely thorough and detailed, they quoted very competitive pricing to include 100% services guarantee and commitment to 0 price increase for the next 3 years, despite the RFQ providing an option for a not to exceed 3% annual increase, as is typical for our RFQ/RFP process. At this time, I'm recommending that the board approve and award a contract for the 2026 chemical application services to True Green for lawn chemical application services for the district in the amount of $133,874.65. Pending your approval tonight, the contract will begin this month, March 2026, and run for 1 year with mutually agreed upon renewal terms for up to 2 additional years. As stated above, True Green has committed to no price increase in that 3-year period. Then I would like to say a special thank you to Jim Pratt with True Green for being with us tonight, and I'll have to answer the questions.
Questions? I do have questions. I just thought of it now because, chemical application, how exciting. The variation in the quotes is a lot more than what we often see. And even to the extent of like the athletic grounds versus common grounds, they are really all over the place. So I'm curious, was that purely just companies or were some companies saying, oh, you need these 10 chemicals and other companies are saying, oh, no, we can make do with only these 3 applications? Like, do you have any sense of what really drove such a disparity?
Hard to set out a very standardized, like, this is what we want you to quote. I don't know that everyone followed it.
Okay.
That was attention to it.
That-
I
yeah,
do know
this is
that the 2 quotes that were the closest were companies that are familiar with our properties. And so it made sense to me that those 2 companies had the closest quotes. So the quote that was closest to True Greens is another company that's familiar with our property. So that made sense to me. The ones that were like really high were people that don't know us and we have not worked with before. So that might be part of it,
Okay.
familiarity. But we tried to put it out there as soon as possible, but I don't think that everyone.
And then my second question, I don't even know how to phrase this, but just really for the sake of the public, anytime somebody hears about, lawn chemicals, right? I just kind of want to ask, you to summarize kind of what our practices are in terms of making sure that we're compliant with environmental regulations and safety for kids running on these fields and all those things for anyone who might hear this word, lawn chemicals and kind of say, oh, what kind of chemicals are we putting out there on the fields our kids run on?
So we would never put out anything, obviously, that is going to be harmful. And then there's always part of this agreement in which they do not apply any of this, like right when kids are going to be out there using. There's a period of time in between that. They're not going to be out there right before practices start or not during the recess time. And then part of what we feel comfortable with True Green is they are specialized in fertilizing chemical applications. And so they provided it in the past, and we know that they are following all state standards, all the rules and regulations, procedures, tools that are.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? All right. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve lawn chemical application services agreement with True Green as presented by Mr. Bowles.
It's been moved and seconded. Although, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it 5-0. Thank you. And thank you from our representative from True Green for being here. All right, moving on to our information items with our nice short agenda tonight. Mr. Boots, we always enjoy hearing your construction project updates, as does the community. So take it away.
Good evening again. Short agenda, and we are to the point now that these updates are relatively short in comparison to past times. So thank you, and a good evening again. I am going to present a brief update on the status of the Washington Township Capital projects and our community engagement and workforce development. Very long list of projects that have been completed. So I'm simply going to touch base on the 3 projects that we made active. The first and the biggest of those projects is in fact the North Central, what we have dubbed Phase 3, which is the renovation of all 1 million plus square feet of the North Central High School, and includes an addition of the new admin area and the new performing arts space. This phase of the project will continue through the end of this year. Some of the completed areas include the new administration area, some classrooms for science, math, art, and English, main gymnasium, a new media center that you see here, some special area education spaces, the entire kitchen, serving line, and cafeteria space see here. And we also have some new conference spaces and touchdown work areas that have been completed in the warehouse. Areas that are currently under construction include the new theater arts expansion that will be turning over here after the week of spring break. We made some remaining science rooms on the 2nd floor under construction. Those will be completed in summer. And then we have our gathering stair barista areas are also planned for completion in the summer. What you see here is the new south entrance. That'll be the new student entrance on the south end of the building. That'll be for both the North Central High School and the James Bell School. And here are some of the nearly finished practice spaces within the Performing Arts Edition. And again, many of these spaces will be turned over and occupied during demonstration. One of the activities you'll see very shortly is that, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Gathering area and barista areas are some highlighted areas. Those areas will be finished in the summer. Obviously, with spring break coming, it's going to be pushed. Some areas finished and turned over, but we're right on schedule to get that. And we are beginning to plan for our very last major push this summer, which will be the very last summer of many summers of construction referendum project. The second phase is our J. Ever Flight project that we've done phase 5. That project includes renovation in areas in the lab spaces, automotive lab, carpentry, building facility maintenance, that nature, locker rooms, spaces for all of those classes as well. Final phase is going to embark at the beginning of this summer and will be turned over. Most of that final phase will be turned over at the end of the summer. We are, however, in the middle of analyzing potential for adding scope in some areas that did not get as much love as some other spaces. So we're undertaking that now, and that may push this project, completion of that overall project, a little bit later into the calendar year. You will see a refresh on the outside of the building in the near future when the weather breaks, as we'll be painting the exterior metal facade all the way around. And the third active project, you might be able to tell we took this picture this morning during the monsoons, but that is the Washington Township Services Center, what we call phase 6. This work is indeed complete within the building. All areas are finished and occupied. In the summer, as soon as the weather allows, we will begin the final work on the stormwater system, surrounding drives and parking areas. That work will continue through the summer and be ready. The plan is to have it ready when school resumes. And this building as well will get the exterior trim painted all around the building as soon as the sun peeks out. So in closing, I'm excited to provide an update on our community engagement and workforce development efforts. I'm pleased to report that we have attained $133.5 million in spend commitments across all of our referendum projects, and we have an actual spend to date of $128.6 million. Those numbers are current through January. And we are also having continued success connecting our Washington Township students with local apprentice programs as we are able to identify those programs. So that concludes my remarks. Be happy to respond to any questions.
Questions? I have one, because it's a question that came from a community member to me recently. I don't know. I'll ask. Why didn't we add solar panels? We've all this roof on North Central. And so did we look at solar panels as part of all this, and why was that not done? Sorry.
That's okay. Yes. Solar panels are a great idea when you are able to deploy them in sufficient size. So we do have a lot of roofs, but the other side of that part that's invisible, and that is how do you store and reuse that energy? There are certain things in the state of Indiana that are not as conducive as they used to be. So that's one of the items. Another item is it is a considerable upfront first cost. And when all the planning was being made, that was pretty much a determinant.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
What are you gonna do when you don't come here?
Stay on the South Sea.
Okay.
That is the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, when I'm done, I'm done.
It's amazing that we're coming to the end is in
It is.
sight.
Yeah, that light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter every
Yeah.
day.
It's wonderful.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes our our information items. Last but not least for our agenda is any special events and liaison reports. I'll start at that end with Ms. Worker.
Pretty quiet for me. A strategic plan meeting. I sat in on that and I had a meeting with Dr. Kaiser. I'm the safety liaison, so we had a meeting there. That was very informative, and I think that's it for me.
I went to Clearwater for BizTown interviews. So much fun, and I got a handful of nice thank you letters from the students. That was a lot of fun, though. Did school visits at North Central and West Lane on Tuesday, and I got to see. So we approved so much stuff at the board, and I finally got to see something we approved in action. So a few months ago, we approved Dr. Fleshner, who's going to come and do PD for math teachers, and so I got to sit in with Dr. Taylor on some of that math PD for sixth grade math teachers. It was sixth grade math teachers from all three of the middle schools. And so that was really cool to kind of see that and like see it like, hey, we approved this and like this is actually happening. So that was really cool. Also got to take a tour of all of the new North Central construction items. So all those pictures that you guys saw, I got to see in person. And then I went to the Teachers Treasurer's grand opening at the Service Center, and also got a tour by Chief Lindsay of the Service Center, which was really cool too. And next Tuesday, the Marion County School Districts Association is hosting their meeting here. And so that is a collaborative of school board members of Marion County School Districts that meet to avail itself to some of the legislative interest of the collective Marion County School District. So that's happening here next Tuesday at 6:30. So that's it.
I have been playing parent, and so I went to top 100. And then I've been home with a sick child, so buildings for the sake of not spreading his germs.
And yeah, it's only been 2 weeks, I think, since our last board meeting, but I was very pleased to be part of. We had some work and a meeting on our legal RFP process. Really very, very pleased with the quality of some of the proposals that came in. And we've now scheduled interviews with some of the firms. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you. All right, that reaches the end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.